campus with Social Media SaaS and down in South Florida and Florida Social Con, and we're talking a little bit about bilingual social media. And we had a question pop up on Periscope, a comment saying, you know, the Hispanic market is bigger than we think. And also asking about if you think, you know, with the opening of Cuba, if there's going to be a lot more, you know, social media in Spanish, like, and you're in South Florida, so you probably have a better idea, you know.
I believe a lot of here, when you look at the job descriptions of social media managers, etc., a lot of them are asking for bilingual managers. So I think, yes, there's going to be a lot more bilingual social media. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. I'm like, oh no, we're losing each other again. You know, I mean, I don't want to put my ideals on people, but I think as we grow, as, you know, like more people, immigrants come join together, I think eventually, like, you know, the language is gonna maybe turn into one language. You know, like I feel like the world is opening up to become one world. You know, not right now we're still separated. We're this, you know, the Hispanic language, but I feel like, as you know, when you're like talking Spanglish, you know, like everyone's kind of understanding, even people who are not just like Spanish, Latino, you know, they understand what you're talking about because it's just so familiar to them. And with the opening of Cuba, more people coming in, you know, speaking Spanish, it just kind of like, it becomes familiar in your house, you know, so.
Yeah.
And for now, we need the bilingual.
It's going to be a new, you know, a new market definitely for brands. Also, you know, opening up. And you know, they're definitely Spanish speaking. You know, they don't really have another language that they're learning. And I think that, you know, once they have that technology, they're just going to devour social stuff, like social media, like crazy.
And I'm not sure if this happens to you, but like a lot of my friends who live in El Salvador, they are so like amazed by the American culture. Like they wanna, you know, they think that we're so cool here in America. So they come here. Like at first, of course, they speak Spanish. And imagine you're a school that teaches English, and you need to speak to the people who don't speak English yet, you know. So you need to learn or hire someone who already knows the language to communicate. And right now, what's the biggest form of marketing that's happening at the biggest is social media, the easiest kind of like marketing because it's so accessible.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, and there's a comment here from John. John's in Costa Rica, and he says, Costa Rica has been Americanized to some point. I definitely agree. You know, being Costa Rican, I can tell you that, yeah, I mean, we teach English in a lot of schools, like in a lot of public schools. Hey, Alexa, thanks for jumping in. Alexa Carlin's in the house. So, say hi. So exciting. Yeah, but it's very exciting to talk about this because I see a lot more folks moving towards this. Towards needing that global reach, you know, when it comes to their social media and using other languages with emerging markets. I mean, you've got obviously Latin America, you've got Eastern Europe, you've got Asia, which is huge. I mean, so it's, you know, it's bilingual social media in the sense not only to Spanish, but I mean, there is a need. There is a need definitely for some, you know, integration into different languages with social media.
And I have a few friends who are social media managers who are from Canada, and they, for their social media, they do both languages per post. So you could see on their news feed that they're talking to people in French, they're talking people in English, back and forth, and some people are jumping in on both conversations. So it's it allows brands to reach more people. And what do brands want to do? They want to sell their products to more people. So
yeah. So no, that's a great point. That's a great point. I've definitely seen that. And I tend not to do a lot of stuff in Spanish on Twitter, but I've started to kind of branch out. Because at first I was like, maybe I'm ostracizing someone, but then I was like, no, you know what? It's totally fine. People understand that I'm Latina and there are some interactions I'm going to have in Spanish. And I've met some really interesting people that way. So yeah. And Carla, can you tell folks a little bit about Florida Social Con?
So Florida Social Con is a social media conference, and it came about because business owners wanted to learn. Here, there's a lot of demand of social media education. So there's a demand from the business community on learning social media with specific business topics in mind. So yes, there's a lot of different conferences. Some are just targeted to marketing departments, etc. So SocialCon is targeted specifically at the business community. So we are a social media education company that educates the business world, like the business community here in South Florida at this time. You know, I was thinking of maybe doing some more in different states, and even maybe in El Salvador or.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Well, and then that's another point to prove the importance of bilingual social media. You know, if I want to go to El Salvador and teach people social media, then I need to speak their language. I need to understand their businesses.
Yeah, there needs. That's awesome. That's a point. So, and anything else you might want to add, Carla?
I wanted to ask you what your thoughts were on bilingual social media.
Yeah,
and you were talking to me before and telling me that you do periscopes in both and tweet them out.
yeah, I do both. I do, and when I do one in Spanish, because most of my followers are English speakers, I usually put in Spanish, Colin, you know, and then the title in Spanish. And it's interesting. I get definitely more followers in English than I do in Spanish. But I think that that's going to increase now that Android has been, you know, launched that Periscope has been launched for Android. Hey, Kelly, thanks for jumping in. Definitely a lot more people in Latin America are going to jump in, are going to start using it. So my big prediction is that we're going to see a lot more brands jumping in. So Florida Spanish speakers, Great Pacific Northwest, no one speaks Spanish. Yeah, you know, there's a lot of parts in the U.S. where no one, yeah. Are you talking about Pacific Northwest here or in the States, John? Maybe in Costa Rica. I think you're referring about Costa Rica. But yeah, you know, we have questions. There's questions. Oh, in the States. Yeah, you know, there's parts of the States where there's definitely not a big amount of Spanish speakers, but you know, obviously things are changing. In Portuguese, it's important too, Cynthia. Eu falo português também. Eu vou fazer periscopes in português também. I speak Portuguese, so that was Portuguese.
I don't, but see, like, it's good that I know somebody who does. So if I need someone, then I know exactly who to go to.
Because Brazil is such a huge market too. So yeah, eu falo Portuguese.
Of course, this is not just about, you know, Latin America. Of course, all languages are important. Understanding other people's cultures as well, you know.
Yeah, and Philip jumped in saying Mandarin is going to be huge. Yes, it is. Yes. I mean, emerging markets in Asia, huge. You know, there's definitely social media that is used in, for example, in China that we have no idea about, that we don't even know how to use. So when I teach my social media class in Spain, actually one of the things that I'm teaching now is going to be social media in emerging markets, because there are certain things that, you know, that can be used for marketing in those countries that we have no idea about, and it's important for people to at least know what they are. So yeah, it's a crazy world. It's a crazy, amazing global world.
I have a friend too who does their social media with Mandarin and English.
Oh, that's really cool. That'd be a really cool person to interview, because it's probably a very different interaction.
Yeah, and I'm not sure exactly, you know, like he has the characters, and it's good to learn yourself too, because you can see, you know, like, oh, this is what it means in English. This is what I would write in case I wanted to communicate with somebody, you know.
And John had an interesting point. He said there's more Chinese people learning English than there are English speakers learning Mandarin. I agree, but you know, I do think that's still going to be very important. It's still obviously huge, huge language. And my daughter, you'll get a translator. You'll get a translator. My little girl. My phone. Sorry, guys. My phone just jumped out. Okay, I'll just hold it.
You know what happened to my phone yesterday.
Oh, right? No, just as long as it doesn't break. But my little girl, who is 5, actually she loves learning. I mean, she's bilingual because we speak English and Spanish at home. But she's learning Mandarin at school, and she loves it. And she'll come and say something to me, and I'll be like, I have no idea what you're saying. So.
My kids, it's so hard to teach them Spanish. It's like I have to forcefully talk to them in Spanish because they don't want to speak Spanish.
Carla, we just got a really cool question from Edgar. He said, what do you think are the 5 topics, maybe top 3, let's do top 3 topics that maybe the Latin community in South Florida is interested in, you know?
Let's see. Food. Everybody loves food.
Yes, food, right?
Food, that's like the first thing that comes to mind. Everybody's always talking about, you know, the Cuban sandwich from like this store is better than this one.
Versailles, or like, oh my gosh, yeah.
Tourism is a big one. Everybody wants to know where like the beaches are, like the best hotels, where the best food is to eat when they're on vacation. And family. Education and their families and things for their kids to learn. Those are the topics that I don't know if it's because those are my interests too that I'm usually seeing the people talking about, but that's what I see pretty much.
They're saying shopping, which is true. Shopping.
Oh
too.
yeah, shopping.
And especially in South Florida, with a lot of Latin American folks coming from Latin America to go shopping in Miami. Because that's, I mean, that's what we did in the summer when we were in Costa Rica. We'd come up to Miami and go shopping.
Yeah, people want to know about the high fashion and you know, all the Miami like nightlife and Miami. They're dancing.
All right, guys. Well, I think that that's it. But Carla, do you want to, maybe do a quick invitation to Florida Social Con?
Oh yeah, sure. You guys, if you want to follow us on Twitter, we are Florida FL Social Con, and our hashtag is FL Social Con. So please, we invite you to come, and you know, if you are in the Miami area, you can check out the nightlife and the shopping too while you're here. So please come on down on Florida Social Con.
All right. Awesome. Well, thank you, Carla. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Kathy. Nice talking to you. Bye, guys. I'm embarrassed.
So, all right. Bye.